so many things. All right. What's up, good people? It's your man, LA Cheatham. Watch the game, subscribe, and share the videos. And if you're joining us tonight, thanks for joining.
Yo, what's good on Good People Benjamin, man? We checking in. It's playoff time. And Ricky, when it's playoff time, because you don't feel or hit the same, but it's playoff time.
You know, tonight's topic, we are sports fans. How prestigious are the NBA playoffs now? That's the topic of tonight. We're in the second round of the playoffs, NBA playoffs. And I think the last time we spoke, me and you both were in agreement that the first round needs to be shortened to the best of 5.
Yes, and we still in agreement on that.
And I think if you were the 76ers, they would have probably benefited from a 5-game series. And so they go into the second round with Joel Embiid consistently being injured. And when he's on the court, at times he plays extremely well at a high level. But I think, to sum it up, I think the Sixers would have benefited from a shorter series, 5-game series. Maybe even the Lakers. But that's neither here nor there. That's that we finally out of the first round. Took us maybe 2 weeks to do it. Too long for my liking. So now we're in the second round of the playoffs. Penn, how prestigious is this NBA playoffs in your opinion?
I mean, it's been forgettable, I guess. Forgettable, like nothing that we have witnessed or, just happenstance to hear, as we tune into the national media shows and watch the highlights. Nothing that has really transpired has made this playoffs memorable yet. I mean, even last year, we can point back to the Pacers run where Halliburton hitting all the clutch shots. And, that kind of at least gave it a little made it, enjoyable. It was a small market finals with OKC and the Pacers. We had Halliburton go to the Garden and kind of reenact the Reggie Miller. So we had some moments that we could at least etch in our memory and be like, remember when Halliburton did X, Y, Z? Remember the Pacers made their run? But so far in this playoffs, we've had James Harden do his normal disappearing act. We've had the LeBron narrative, which we've had for the last 20 years. Because they talk about the Lakers so much, and they're clearly undermanned, and I don't understand why they're getting as much attention as they get other than LeBron. So that's not memorable. We used to that. We think we seeing Wemby and them do something, but we don't know. They're a young team. I mean, the Knicks are finally looking like they might get to the finals, but nothing really memorable has happened as of yet. There hasn't been any major upsets. Damn near all the series went to – we had 3 Game 7s. No, Boston blew a 3-1 lead. We had 3 Game 7s. I think every series in the first round was 6 except for OKC.
Yeah, except for OKC, exactly. So it's kind of hard to determine who's playing it. I guess you could say the Knicks and OKC are playing the best in the playoffs right now. Simply because of the records. The Knicks have been scoring a lot of points. The last 3 games. I know the last 2 out of 3 games they scored a lot of points. But just to let the people know, we are in between games as we speak. Right now, we are in the post game of the Cavaliers finally getting the win in the series against the Pistons. So the Pistons are up 2-1.
Yeah, right. Shocker.
and you spoke of James Harden Donovan Mitchell. Both came up big today. Donovan Mitchell, 35 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. James Harden, 19 points, 7 assists. And the key for James, he played well in the clutch. Made some big plays down the stretch to allow Cleveland to get a game in this series. I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit wins this game and wins this series in 5. But it's definitely James Harden is, like you said, has been taking a lot of criticism over the years for his playoff performances. Also for his ability to move from team to team, and I think he went to Cleveland. Someone say because he wanted to get his money. He went to Cleveland for the money. Now I believe he's playing for his reputation. In today's game, he stepped up, especially down the stretch. Like I said, 19 points, 7 assists. Now, it's fair to say that he's probably sacrificing some shots for Donovan Mitchell. Well, don't get me wrong. I don't like how James Harden plays myself, but I still think he has the ability to assist, score, and maybe even rebound and defend if he ever decides to do so. I still respect his talent. But like I say, he stepped up big today. Maybe it can be a turning point. He most definitely has something to prove in the playoffs. He may be the one that could benefit the most by getting to the conference finals. And between him and Embiid, those two can probably benefit the most getting to conference finals in these playoffs. Now the Sixers are down 0-3, and Embiid is having troubles even staying on the court. Yeah. And even when he is on the court, there's some matchup issues because you might think that the Sixers will be better off without him from time to time.
And even in game 2, they played without him, and I think I don't know what the score of the game was last night they played, but I know game 2 they was in it right into the end. I think they ended up losing by less than 10. But yeah, I think this ship has sailed for Embiid down 0-3. But Harden, I don't even think Harden got to make it to the conference finals. I think Harden got to get to a finals because he's been to a conference finals before. He's been there with Houston. He's been there with OKC. He didn't get there with the Clippers, but he's been there before. He needs to get to the finals, and he needs to be one of the catalysts that get them to the finals.
I believe if he gets to the conference finals and he's down 2-1, Cavaliers down 2-1. You're right, he can most definitely benefit from a finals appearance. Definitely would love to win the championship. But I think he may get some people's respect, some fans' respect, if he got to the conference finals, especially with the Cavs being down 2-1. That would mean that, he stepped his game up. They come and they take these series. And he's get to the conference finals and play extremely well, and they come up short of maybe 6 or 7 games. In my opinion, I would respect that. And then you can leave the door open for Cleveland for the possibility of whatever's going to happen next year. I think all of the talk about LeBron James returning back to Cleveland next season, this was something many people were talking about right around All-Star break, a little bit after. But the Cavaliers come up short. Depending on how James Harden plays, he can really help his legacy by either getting to the finals. Don't have to win it. Win it would be gravy.
Yeah,
he has to play well from this point forward. Donovan Mitchell as well, because you got to remember the Cavaliers traded Darius Garland, a young, star point guard to the Clippers. Now, Darius has some issues with his health, whatnot. He has some things to overcome. But James Harden has to play well for that trade to be a success. because that's pretty much what it comes down to. Because Garland is a young player, he has to ascend, but you would think he's got a bright future. So the future is now for James Harden. He
Yeah.
has to play well for that trade to be a success.
Yeah, and until he does it, we still gonna be saying the same thing. He has to
Yeah.
do it, and I don't know how many chances he gonna continue to get with these franchises bringing him in, thinking he can be the piece that catapults them to get to that next level that they are trying to get to. I mean, his last 3-4 stops, it ain't worked out. So it blows my mind that he keep getting these chances, keep winding up on championship caliber rosters for the performance that he keeps putting out. And when it comes postseason time, like he just kind of shrinks. And me and Cutter was talking about it earlier. Like we don't even understand the whole back and forth that they having about is James Harden better than Dwayne Wade. We don't even understand how that's even a conversation when in the biggest moments, Dwayne Wade was there. He's got 3 championships. He's a finals MVP. And he's got Olympic gold to go with it. 2 of them, I believe. Will Harden got post, regular season.
Shout out to B.O.B. Cuz Bob Sanders watching tonight. Also with another relative, Cuz Joe Sanders. How my man call himself? What do he call himself? Pistol Joe. Pistol Joe Sanders. Joining us on Facebook tonight. I want to shout them out. As I look down and I see people checking us out, I want to give them a shout as they watch. I hope they are enjoying the show. So we talked about the game that was we're in the post game of the Cavaliers defeating the Pistons and going to stay in the East with the Knicks and Sixers. And like I said, the Sixers probably would have benefited from a 5-game series in the first round. Weren't expected to beat Boston, beat them in 7-game series, and Embiid in that series once he came back was a problem. Was a real rim protector. He presented a problem. Or was it just the case that the Celtics were just settling for jump shots and wouldn't attack the rim? I think that might be the case.
Yeah, it was definitely them just jacking up threes. I think they shot 49 threes, and at what game? We was texting back and forth. I was like,
I think it was game 13. I believe they won 13 or 49 from 3.
Yeah. How do you do that
in game 7?
Yeah, how do you do that?
And had a chance to win down the stretch and didn't necessarily need the 3.
I think they came down. They was down 1. I want to say they came down and shot 6 straight threes.
Yeah, man. It kind of reminds you when Jimmy Butler came down against the Celtics years ago and pulled up. I think did he make it or miss it?
No, he missed
but
it.
It was a questionable shot. They ended up going to overtime in that game though, didn't
No, that was game 7. That was the shot to win the series, and he missed it. And then Celtics closed it out after that. I think they hit free throws.
Yeah. See, that comes a time when you got to seize the moment, man. Just take what's given and just move on. Don't worry about what it looks like. And even in the post season interviews, the Celtics, Brad Stevens and Coach Mazzulla, they were kind of stubborn on how they even looked at the perspective of shooting all the threes. They kind of defended it, saying, those shots got to go down. That's kind of stubborn. But the style of play didn't favor the Celtics. You still got to believe that Jason Tatum and Jason Tatum didn't play in game 7. That was another thing that we questioned. I questioned how they would manage his minutes down the stretch. If they would manage his minutes more so he can make more of a playoff run. And it came down to him actually. I don't know if it was a reoccurring injury, but he did have some issues with another leg or the same leg, and wasn't able to compete in game 7. And then I think for the NBA, they probably like, hey, Celtics out, no Tatum, let's move on. I mean, I don't think if Tatum If the Celtics would have won, would Tatum would have even been healthy? That's my question going forward. So maybe the NBA got what they wanted, but now they just put the Knicks in prime position to push forward. Now, up 3-0, the big thing with the Knicks is Jalen Brunson. My problem with this is I respect Jalen Brunson's game. He's been a champion in college, two-time champion at NCAA championship at Villanova. But is there no one that can stand? Now, don't get me wrong. If he hit this jump shot, all he can do is get a hand up and contest. But the thing that gets me throughout this league, not only just with Jalen Brunson, is guys' inability to stay in front of the ball and guard the dribble. And all I can think about is, okay, so you got these Wembanyama, Rudy Gobert, and then some would say Draymond Green, pretty good post defenders who have a reputation for being pretty good post defenders in the NBA. But who are the guys in the NBA? Remember back in the day, you had Gary Payton, Bruce Bourne, Vernon Maxwell, and Tony Allen.
Yeah.
These guys were known for being really good perimeter defenders in the NBA. Who are those guys today? Now, I know Marcus Smart had that reputation for a little while. He may be the best on-ball defender for the Lakers. Him and what's the kid name? I think he's injured right now.
On the Lakers?
Damn, what's his name? He's injured right now. I think he's been sitting out a game. Slips my mind right now. But the league is lacking those type of guys. They spend so much time pushing the great shooters. The other portions and skill sets of the game get overlooked. Years ago, you knew who the great rebounders were, who the great defenders were, post and perimeter. You know what I mean? And now, Wemby is by far the best rim protector in the league.
Jared Allen.
But yeah, I forgot it. I didn't say his name. But do they get the same hype that they got years ago?
No, not even remotely. Because the game is so different now. Well, like we just said, the Celtics shot 49 threes in a game 7. But when you look across the entirety of the league, the three-pointer is just off the charts with the amount that they are attempting them. So you got a lot of these 3-and-D guys, break down your man or whatever. Jalen Brunson kick it out to Mikal Bridges and shoot a 3. Mikal Bridges might be one of them guys that you talk about, but again, he still don't get talked about in that same light as Gary Payton. He don't even get talked about. You remember how they talked about Scotty and Mike? Like when Scotty and Mike decided to play defense, they was always
the duo thing.
Right, all NBA first team defense. That was throughout their run, they was always on there. Who are the NBA all first team? Usually you talking about Wemby's, and you talk about the Rudy Gobert's, and you talking about, and I'm going back a few years now, Dwight Howard's, because these guys, all they doing is blocking shots, bigs coming to the, protecting the paint, protecting the rim, but it's no, Marcus Smart won it. He won it in Boston. That's probably 6-7 years ago now, but who's won it since then as if he was a guard? It's just not prioritized. It's not highlighted because the whole game is about high screen roll. We're switching everything, and then who can make the most threes?
Yeah. My thing is, who's going to say, look, I'm about to stop Brunson. Don't give me any help. I'm going to find a way to get it done. Just taking pride in the ability to stop guys. And I don't know if Patrick Beverly was one of them years ago. You might even throw Caruso in there. Yeah. Because Caruso would take a tough assignment from time to time. But those guys just don't get the hype throughout the season, going into All-Star break, coming into the end of the season, and just getting the hype they got at one point in time. And it gets me back to the point of prestige. how prestigious is the NBA playoffs? Now, don't get me wrong. We had the pleasure of watching the Bulls win 6 championships with the GOATs, Michael, Jeffrey, Jordan. But even before then, there was a certain amount of prestige that went along with the NBA playoffs and road to the NBA championship. Is it the same? And I know today's society, there's more to do. Um, People probably don't even watch games
Yeah.
from horn to horn like they used to. We going into more of a highlight society, microwave society. People want things in quick, fast, and hurry. Then there's a lot more things to do. But when you think about the NBA playoffs, you know, especially this should be something that this used to be something that you made sure
It
that
was
you
must
was
watch TV. It was appointment
yeah,
for
it was
TV.
must see TV. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe that the streaming services of Amazon and the Peacock, I don't know if it's helping. It may take a few years for us to figure that out with these new deals that they sign. But is it killing the overall prestige along with the style of play, killing the overall prestige of the NBA playoffs? Um, I think they got to market these guys a little different. Well, the fan can appreciate the different skill sets of each, guys on defense at the perimeter, guys around the rim. I think Wemby and Rudy Gobert are two of the top at that. Wemby probably no more noticeable because he's younger and he's getting the job done on both ends, mind you. But we need more guys taking more pride in just guarding on the perimeter. And I think along with the shot selection, I think that would help the league immensely.
Well, yeah, like I'm not a fan of the way the game is being played now, so it's not appointment TV for me. And even when I'm trying to casually watch, when I'm going to, I'm a Hulu subscriber, so I cut on my Hulu. And when I don't see the game on the main channels, NBC, ESPN, because it ain't no TNT no more, that's pretty much it for me. Because then that means I gotta go out of the Hulu app, go into another Prime or whatever to find the game. And at that point, it's just like I don't even care this much. Like I can just watch the highlights. I have no. It would be different. It would be. I think it would be a little different if I liked how they played the game, and B, I was still with the Miami Heat, both feet in. But I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out with them. So if I missed the game, okay, I just missed it. I see it when I see it. So,
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some things they can do style wise to make the game more watchable. I think it starts with how we market the players in each skill set, show a little bit more appreciation of both sides of the basketball. And I think the spearhead of that has to be ESPN. They have to make it a point to celebrate defensive players, the top rebounders. And at one point in time, it seemed like those guys that won those awards back in the day would get the day that these awards were announced. Those guys would get the press for that day or that couple days before we moved on to who the MVP of the league was. Like right now, I think it would be great to be celebrating certain individuals up until they have not named the league MVP yet. And as each round of the playoffs go on, they should take out the time to celebrate each guy as we get to the league MVP. Because up until now, the big focus is outside of the playoffs is the draft lottery. And
yeah.
I believe they're doing a poor job of promoting that as well, in my opinion. I
A lot
believe the game itself, there's too much stoppage in play. for them not to be able to promote these things. There's enough stoppage in play. And I think the stoppage in play does not help basketball as much as it helps football. When you're talking about instant replay, it gives the people too many. It gives like put it to you this way: when there's a call in the NBA, when they stop the game to go to the review, do you change the channel or do you stay locked in to figure out what's going on? As opposed to NFL, you probably locking in.
Yeah.
And also with the NFL, you used to stoppages of play between each play anyway. There's a pace in which the game is played. And when you look at older NBA games, by the way, that's one of the ways I get ready to watch games. I go back and I watch an old game from the past to try and get ready to watch NBA playoffs now. And it's usually it was the pre-games. Now I can't watch a lot of pre-game. I kind of get into that old school mentality. Then I look at the effort later on that night and kind of compare it to the effort that you saw back in the day. But they have to find a way to speed the game up, in my opinion. All the stoppage of play I don't like. The referees get more camera time than the players sometimes. Don't like that. And I think this came from the NFL, instant replay. And I don't think it works for each sport the same.
You want it to be more like baseball with the ABS? It's real quick.
Yeah, or you can go back, or you can. It's like with basketball. Okay, referees going to make mistakes.
Hold on. We got a guest in the studio. We got number 12. We got 12 making an appearance.
Hey, what's going on?
Number 12.
Yes,
the
sir.
Wildcat.
Yes, sir.
Or should we call him the Bulldog?
Wildcats forever. Hey, I just want to tell everybody that's listening to this podcast, listen to these cats. They know what they're talking about. All right. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Fans, keep listening to what you're listening to. And I'm going to get out of here. Wildcats forever.
Special guest, class of 1976, at guard, number 12, Rich Hudson. Hammond, Indiana's own. Hall of Fame, I might add. Was he a point guard or a shooting guard? Ask him. Can you ask him? Was he a point guard or a shooting guard?
He left the studio recording area, so he can't hear me.
Okay, I'm gonna say he was a shooting guard. I don't think he passed the ball too much. All right, but back to what we were talking about, man. I just think the stoppage don't serve the NBA the same way it serves the NFL. I don't think. I believe it's you might have a tendency to lose fans with the stoppage of play, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's overly done, and I know they've taken steps to shorten the replay, shorten the challenges they got, but it needs to be more streamlined, more quick to the point, like the baseball ABS is. They tap their helmet within 15 seconds. We know what the call is, and we're moving on to the next play of the game. The NBA, we got to have Tony Brothers all in the camera and get his close-up time, and he got to announce to the crowd. You know, they taking this from football, obviously, like they announced the penalties or whatnot. But it's just like, bro, we seen it 7 times on the replay that it was off of Orlando. I'm sure y'all seen that. They got the big jumbotrons in the stadium. Like, why is this taking so long? Let's get back to the action. And in that time, what do we have? We got the commentators talking about what they see on the replay. We got the commentators like, well, they maybe could go back and change this to a flagrant. Like, bro, we just want the game to start.
Now, hey, and then moving on, if we could just move on, like the NBA should just move on from play to play. The Pistons, it's looking like the Pistons and the Knicks. And although be it the Cavaliers have stepped up and took one game, Maybe they can take the Pistons to 6 or 7. Who knows? I say 6. I can see the Cavs winning at least one more game because I think James Harden and Donovan Mitchell coming into this series, I thought they would be they you would think Cleveland has more offensive options than Detroit. Detroit struggles to have a second score outside of what's the
Tobias,
kid name?
it's
Cade.
Cade,
Cade.
and then Tobias can give you some buckets. I think
Yeah.
Tobias had 20.
Tobias has been stepping up big as of late. Consistently though, Robinson had a pretty good game one. Who's the power forward on that team that they've been
Uh,
waiting to come around?
you talking about Thompson, not the Thompson brother. Amir is a Amir, what's his name? Asar.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Let me look at the stats. But the bottom line is Detroit struggles to score the ball. One of the better defending teams in the league, but they struggle to score the what's the kid's name here? Jalen Duren.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of a cleanup man. They've been waiting on him to come around a little bit with his offensive game. But Robinson has been spacing the floor. I know the first game, Duncan Robinson had a pretty good game in the game one, and Cunningham has been playing a lot of minutes. He definitely played a lot of minutes in the first series, and then given a chance, don't want to burn him out because you're definitely gonna need him come down the stretch if you're gonna get to the Eastern Conference Finals and further on to the finals, NBA Finals. They're gonna have to find the second score on Detroit has to be consistent. It could be a couple of guys, but they're most definitely gonna need some more consistency from the second or third guy scoring for the Detroit Pistons. Defensively, they bring it. They bring it. They check in, they check out. They check in, they check out. They bring it every night. Detroit, OKC, and then maybe even San Antonio to a degree around Wemby. Three of the probably the better defensive teams in the league. For a league that's really getting criticized for the lack of defense. But it looks like the Knicks and the Pistons, and the next time we speak to you, we may be heading in that direction. And my question is, I believe that may be a better matchup because maybe someone on the Pistons, given that the Pistons are having a reputation of being a defensive team, someone will take pride and stand in front of Jalen Brunson.
And we got to see how it play out, but that Pistons Cavs series is going 7. I mean, the Cavs ain't won a road playoff game this whole entire run. They went 7 games with the Raptors, and Raptors didn't have one of their best. Brandon Ingram wasn't even playing, and they went 7 games because they could not figure out how to win one game on the road, and 2 more games have passed. They still haven't won a game. I expect this series to be 2-2 after they play again tomorrow, right? Or Monday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think this is going 7 just because Cavs can't win a game on the road. Detroit is a young team. This they was in it last year, but this is their first time being the number 1 seed, being the 100. They got to go through that learning process of closing the team out. So I think that's going to go 7. Then that's going to be back-to-back series for the Pistons going 7 games. May get into the conference finals with the Knicks coming in potentially off of a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. So coming in and rested, you got to start looking at, well, we know the Pistons are a gritty team and they play defense for today's NBA, but how much energy, how much, is fatigue going to be a factor after playing 2 7-game series, first round, second round. Now here we got to, for our right to go to the finals, we got to do this again versus one of the highest scoring teams in the playoffs.
Yeah. Just to make some positive talk on the Sixers, the question with the Sixers, they have some perimeter guys. You talk about Maxey and Estrom showing up. Even Paul George is having when he's healthy, he can play particularly well. But now the question with the Sixers going forward, if they were to lose this series, you have to wonder what's the future of Joel Embiid, because is he effective in his style of play with the Sixers, or is he holding those young perimeter players back? Because they play one way when he's on the floor, and then they play another way when he's not around. And I believe they can win both ways, but I think in order for him to win on this team, he has to commit to protecting the rim and being a dominant low post presence. They have enough perimeter guys. Joel Embiid needs to go down and I think he would be a lot healthier in this case, because with guys like Joel Embiid and Wembanyama guarding on the perimeter, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you need to switch off, let somebody else guard, depending on who the big is. Take the chances on that big. If he's gonna like for instance, if Cat is going to play out on the perimeter, let somebody else go guard him. You stay around the basket as legally possible, as if you're Joel Embiid. Stay around the basket legally possible. You don't, and you're not in illegal defense or defensive 3 seconds. And I think he would be more healthy. I think he'd be healthier. I think the rim protection will be better. And I think he'd be more effective in that style. And then on offense, I know you don't want to clog things up for the guards. But when Joel Embiid is on the floor, especially if you want to close games out, he should be the guy getting touches. At the end of halves, the end of quarters, that's when I'm going to go to Joel Embiid and close out halves and quarters and games. Now, because he can hit free throws. And I think he'd be healthier in that style of play. And you got to think he's in his advanced stages of his career.
Yeah.
Given the injuries that he's had, he has to change up his game. The GOAT changed his game. Michael Jordan changed his game. The one thing my knock on LeBron is he never really changed his game. He's flared out more to the perimeter probably more than ever. But Joel Embiid has to change his game. I think in order for him to win in Philly, if he changed his game, they'd be more effective. And then throughout the season, as he load manages, that roster has an opportunity to get better. And then they just put him in his proper space in the playoffs. That team would be more successful. He would probably be a lot healthier. And like I said, it might be a lost cause now. I think that's one of the changes that they need to make. The thing is, when Doc Rivers was the coach in Philly, being that Doc is a former player, I always wondered why he didn't tell him, get your ass around the basket. Being a former player, being a former point guard, Doc Rivers, you would think that he would have told Joel Embiid, get your ass around the bucket and let us rat you on the post, get you to the free throw line, stuff like that. He's going to get the call. He's going to get to the line. He can hit the free throws. He has a decent post game. But now he can't move on defense. That's why he needs to just restrict where he is on defense. Stay somewhere around the basket. Make sure you're not in defensive 3 seconds. Let someone else go out and guard those stretch bigs that want to shoot threes like Joker and Karl Anthony Towns. And I just think it'll be better for Joel Embiid. So now they're down 0-3. We'll see how that goes with the Sixers and the Knicks. Now, as we getting ready for the Lakers and Thunder, let's touch on Heat. Not the Heat. Let's touch on the Spurs and the Timberwolves. Timberwolves, in my opinion, down 2-1. Some can say they stole game one.
Yeah, definitely.
They stole game one by attacking the rim. Go ahead.
Yeah, with Ant being hurt, I mean, Ant came off the bench in game one. They didn't expect him to play because he had I think the knee sprain or whatever he had, MCL, whatever sprain he had. He came off the bench, gave him some minutes. Then in game two, I don't think that game was close. Game three was nip and tuck. They just couldn't, they being Minnesota, they just couldn't get over the hump. and I think they ended up losing that game by, I want to say, like 6, 7 points, or something like that. I expect this series again to go back to San Antonio 2-2, because even though Ant is not 100%, he started last night and he started to see the ball go through the basket. And for a guy like that, we know how Ant is. Ant ain't backing down from no smoke. He won all the challenge. Now I feel like I'm a little banged up, but I'm still getting to my spots and getting what I want. Are y'all in trouble? Y'all in trouble. So we'll see how that go. I think that series is going to go 7. I picked San Antonio to win that series, but out of all the players in the playoffs, Ant is my guy to watch. So I want to, keep seeing him in the playoffs. But I really think, even though San Antonio won that game last night, they kind of woke up a sleeping giant by letting him kind of get back into his rhythm. And we just going to see, because Minnesota is a team you really don't want to give life to. They ain't scared of nobody.
Yeah.
And they take that mentality from Ant, like, here, we hit a hoop, like, what's up? They got Ayo back in the lineup now. With Jalen McDaniels, I think his name. He's playing.
Jalen McDaniels. And the other kid out of Illinois.
Ayo.
Ayo's out of Illinois. And then they had another kid.
Yeah, Terrence Shannon Jr.
Yeah. Sam Shannon Jr. Yeah.
And Nas Reed has been shooting the ball well. I think, but outside of Ant, Rudy Gobert being able to do what he did versus Joker, because Rudy took a lot of flack not being able to move his feet and guard or whatever. He's looked a lot more agile in these playoffs, and that is what's really helping Minnesota, give these teams problems. So he's been able to affect Wemby. He's stronger than Wemby. I know Wemby's 7'5", and he's like 7'1" or 7'2", but he's at least able to move a little bit with Wemby out there on the perimeter, so they don't have to play small ball. Julius Randle, we ain't even mentioned him. He's been an all-star. He's a vet in this league. He can go get you some buckets. So don't take this Minnesota team lightly. San Antonio, again, I picked y'all to win in 7 just because I just thought y'all was the better team overall with the Wemby talent. I thought that was better than anybody else that was on the floor. But this is the series that I'm most interested in watching, and then I'd like to see, what OKC and San Antonio is going to be for the West Final, which will really be the finals.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I want to see the Wolves win this because I think Wemby. We talked about MVP honors earlier. Wemby could be in the running for MVP. I'm going to pick Wemby in the top. I'm gonna say top 2 because I think Shea is going to win it again. Kate Cunningham, I got him finishing up at 3rd. And if you're looking at it, the playoffs, some say they would not influence those all 3 of those guys still being in the playoffs. You would want to think that the playoffs would not influence the voting of league MVP at this point in time because it's a regular season award. And I would like to think the SGA is going to get that. Cade, I think he was slowed by injury down towards the stretch, but I think he played himself into a 3rd place finish. And then Wemby, just the phenomena of Wemby, just the things he could do at his size, or should I say the things he's allowed to do at his size. Because I am a firm believer that if I watch highlights of Will Chamberlain, I think I don't think Will Chamberlain was the shooter that Wemby is right now, but Will Chamberlain had the ability, in my opinion, to do some things on the perimeter as far as passing the basketball. I would like to think not so as a playmaker from that position, not so much as a knockdown shooter because he didn't play in the 3-point era anyway. But and then you have your Ralph Sampsons and stuff like that. There were guys that were probably capable of doing some of those things, but they were not allowed. And due to the fact they were not allowed to do it, they never really worked on that part of the game because they always, we're gonna, I'm gonna work on my footwork around the basket, playing with my back behind the basket. And I challenge if Wemby could do that. That's what I'm saying. I challenge if Wemby can actually go down and work with
No,
his
right
back
now
to the basket.
he ain't got enough bricks in his back pocket right now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, he can probably add another 20 pounds, but his footwork, just his back to the basket footwork. If he would ever need to do so, I don't know if he can do that right now. He most definitely, is agile enough to dunk on you, block shots around the rim. And I think if I had to give the Spurs organization some advice, I would tell them to stop allowing Wemby to guard perimeter because I think it's just going to break them down. Because I think I think the Spurs are athletic enough around Wemby on the perimeter to guard on the perimeter. I think just like Joel Embiid, I think you prolong his career by limiting his perimeter defense. You have to cut down his usage on guarding the perimeter. In my opinion, that's just how I feel about it. And the injuries, all the small tissue injuries, I believe it has a lot to do with the way guys are playing the game.
Yeah, but
And on that end, defensively, help defense has to come back to the NBA.
at least San Antonio is usually at the forefront of taking care of his players. I mean, they brought in the whole load management, and even in the season, I mean, I wouldn't say Wemby is on the pitch count or a minute restriction, but they are not really playing him 40 minutes a night or nothing like that because I think they understand what they're dealing with, and bigger guys being able, foot and lower leg injuries and things like that. I think they're aware of that and trying to limit some of that. But one of the positives of Wemby is that he can do. I ain't saying he can. He's not Tony Allen, but just the fact that he can give you some solid effort and be, a defensive. Not even a liability. He's not a liability when he's out there on the perimeter, and they play to that. I just think that organization is going to be mindful of that and see that and be like, okay, well, we got enough guys that can guard the perimeter. Maybe we need to go a little bit more zone a lot, or maybe we need to go get a rim protector outside of Wemby, so he don't have to do as much on the defensive end to preserve his career.
Yeah, I just think, like I said, I want to see the Timberwolves win this series. I think they will go 7 games. I think the guys around Edwards right now, Ayo Dosunmu, what's the kid's name was? The long
Terrence Shannon Jr.
Terrence Shannon Jr. Another kid,
Jalen
McDaniels. Perimeter guys, good defensive perimeter guys that could guard the perimeter. I think not OKC, but Minnesota should take advantage of this roster as it is right now, because I think right now Edwards has perimeter help and Gobert is the defensive stopper around the rim. The defenders are there for Edwards to win and for Minnesota to win a championship. I believe they better seize the moment with that young talent, because as you know how it goes in the NBA. Ayo Dosunmu, I don't know what his contract situation looks like right now.
And then Dante being hurt too. That's a big hurdle for them to overcome. With his the Achilles tear that he had. Their team is really put together well to make a run. I know they was in the conference finals the last 2 years. They may have been thinking this year was the year. I don't think if Dante Vincenzio, whatever his last name is, if he was playing in this series, I think I'd have picked Minnesota to win it in 6.
Yeah, he might be the missing piece as far as perimeter shooting and defense as well. I mean, because he gets at it on the defensive end. But I just like this team from a perimeter defense standpoint, and then you got Gobert back there protecting the rim at a really high level. But hey, I think this is Minnesota's opportunity to win because the Spurs are coming. They are here. I think they're the number 2 seed in the West.
Yep.
I believe they may be a year away, but they're up 2-1 right now. I think it goes 7 because I think at some point between games, what we're 3 games in, between games 4 and 5, you're going to see some inexperience creep up with the Spurs, maybe in a game or a couple plays, and I think that's what's going to stretch this series to 7. Minnesota having playoff experience over the years, not so much with Ayo Dosunmu and Shannon Jr., but the Conley,
Yeah.
Gobert,
Julius
Edwards.
Yeah.
What's the big guy on the shoots real good from the perimeter? You said his name earlier.
Nas Reed.
Nas Reed. These guys have playoff experience.
Yeah.
And I just think at some point in time, that playoff experience is going to overcome, and I think that's going to be the thing that gives Minnesota a chance to win this series in 7. Like I said, I think San Antonio is good. I think they're a year away. But the Wemby mania is really picking up. But the guys around him, the experience around him, they may be a year away. We getting ready for Lakers Thunder. Been a lot of talk about the fouls, stuff like that. A lot of complaining about fouls and flopping and stuff like that. The Thunder, many people say they don't like the way people don't like to see this team play basketball because of the flopping. Now, for years, matter of fact, LeBron James has been criticized for being a flopper for years.
Mm-hmm.
And you never really known it to be a thing over the television airwaves as much as it is a social media thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now, so sports media has really taken a stand to call out flopping against the defending champions. Now, I looking at game 2, which was the last game they played. See, years ago, and I don't know, the last few years, the Lakers have been benefiting from shooting a ton of free throws. Okay, so now that they're not getting, let's see how many times they got to the free throw line in game 2. Austin Reeves got it back on track. 31 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists. A liability on defense, some would say, but I don't know. Let me see. How did the Lakers? You might want to check this out. What did they shoot? How many free throws did they shoot in the game 2 in the loss against OKC? Keep in mind, early in the third quarter, SGA was in foul trouble, so they complained about not getting the foul call. And but SGA was on the bench. Key moments early in the third, late into the third, and the Lakers had their chances to make their run. Keep in mind too, what's the kid name? The Williams kid from OKC.
Jalen
He's not in. He's not in this series. He hasn't played.
Lakers
outside of winning them crazy outfits, that's the biggest statement he's making in these playoffs.
Yeah, Lakers.
The way he's dressing on the sideline.
21 free throws, and OKC shot 26. 18 out of 21.
Can you repeat that? The Lakers stat again?
18 out of 21 for the Lakers, 21 out of 26 for OKC. So they shot 5 more free throws than the Lakers.
Okay, so 21 free throws. You had 21 free throws for the Lakers, 18 to 21.
Yeah.
It's pretty good for a road game. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Because some would say that they have not been calling as many fouls in these playoffs and you probably have not seen as many free throws being shot as a result of it. But don't get me wrong, they're missing Luka Doncic, and you would think that he would give them some big time scoring for the Lakers.
I mean, he averaged
Uh,
32, I think, or 31 or something like that. It was over 30.
yeah, I mean, you would think he would give you big time scoring in this series, but the thing about the Lakers is the way they match up with OKC. The OKC is just like they just hit a switch, and when they hit the switch, they just run past the Lakers. So like 2.5, 3/4, 3.5 quarters, they're like the Lakers in the game. Then the last 15 minutes of the game, they just take off.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, and this series for as well as you might think the Lakers played in the series against the Rockets. The Rockets were looking for an identity in that series. They went into the series lacking a point guard. Many people would think that. They went into that series lacking an identity of how they would play with Kevin Durant and no point guard. They found out that Kevin Durant couldn't be a point guard, and that's what the Lakers took advantage of. Now, Kevin Durant only played one game, and some would say the Rockets found their niche, for a couple games, and then the Lakers got rid of him in game 6, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that series was more about the lack of what the Rockets were and not really as much as how good the Lakers were in that series. I think now don't get me wrong, LeBron had a hell of a series showing that he could, rally the troops with no Austin Reeves, I don't think, and then no Luka Doncic.
He came back in game 5. He played game 5 and 6.
Okay, so but for the majority of this series, no Reeves, definitely no Luka. LeBron showed he can still impact the game in many different areas offensively. But the Lakers just, it just comes down to defense and just, keeping OKC in a pace in which they can just stay in the game for 48 minutes and have a chance down the stretch to win the game. I'm picking the Lakers to win tonight. I'm picking OKC in 6.
I'm saying OKC in 5. I do think the Lakers win tonight, but then OKC rights the ship in game 4, and then it's over as soon as they get back to OKC. Like you said, OKC, they're just the better team. Once they decide to hit that switch and just run off and leave, the Lakers don't have enough firepower. I don't want to say it's similar to the KD Steph Warriors. Remember how they would come out and just obliterate teams in that third quarter, and before you knew it, they had a 19-3 run, and that was pretty much the end of the game at that point. I don't think OKC has that type of firepower, but with everybody being able to shoot the ball, everybody being able to, contribute, they are one of the better defensive teams in the league, even though they don't get called for all the hacking that they be doing. Like, LeBron just can't do it. He's 41 years old, and if LeBron would somehow figure out how to win this series, he wouldn't be the GOAT in my mind, but this would give him some credibility. Like, oh man, I'm really shocked and surprised, and I really give him his credit for pulling this out because all the odds was against him. This time he don't have the all-star teammates to lean on. He don't got Luka. He don't got D-Wade. He don't got Kyrie. It's him at 41 years old, and he did this, and he's not going to be able to do it. Him and Bronny can't pull this out. I'm sorry. The James gang cannot pull this out. Savannah, Zuri, Bryce, you get them all out there. It's not enough.
Hey, LeBron, I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to make it a point to keep saying it. LeBron is the greatest free agent of all time. LeBron was out of my GOAT debate in 2011 when he took his talents to South Beach. Great player nonetheless, but he's the greatest free agent of all time across all sports. I give him that. By the way, since we're talking about it, we're going to talk about LeBron. I think me and you both got OKC winning this series. The Lakers and Thunder are right minutes. They might be maybe they've tipped off, and I know they're right around tipped off. If not, we won't be too much longer tonight. Thanks for joining us. But LeBron is the greatest free agent of all time. Now, Skip Bayless put out a list. Came back on First Take, and he put out his list. He had LeBron at number 9.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that. Yeah.
And he didn't have Isaiah Thomas on that list. So, in my opinion, Isaiah Thomas should be on that list. I have to look at that list again. I probably take someone up out of the list. He had LeBron at number 9. He had Wilt at number 10.
Where did he have Kobe? That's really my only.
I think he had Kobe around 6 or 7.
Okay, as long as Kobe is ahead of LeBron, I'm cool. Because in my book, it's Michael Jordan, Kobe, then whoever else you want to put after that.
Give me a minute. Give me a minute to have some difficulties. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, good people. If you know anything about me, the guy that came along to be the closest to Michael Jordan, I mean, he finished with 5 championships. Mike had 6. He's got 5. LeBron got 4 currently. Like, I don't see how you can't put Kobe above LeBron because LeBron's had too many moments where he just flamed out to me. Kobe's number 2 in my book, and then however else you want to rank it after that. If you want to put Wilt, you want to put Bill Russell, but as long as you got Michael Jeffrey Jordan and Kobe Bryant at the top of your list, then I can talk to you.
Okay, so Mike's the GOAT, in my opinion, and LeBron is the greatest free agent of all time. All right, so we talked about the prestige of the NBA playoffs. Maybe we have not really got a vibe for this. I just want to know who the hell are gonna stay in front of Jalen Brunson. Who's gonna stay in front of Jalen Brunson? And are they manufacturing Wembanyama as a superstar in this league? Those are questions I'm gonna going into the conference and NBA finals as we continue to go on. Maybe there's going to be a moment that captures us this year and in these playoffs that will make this an unforgettable playoff 2026. But with that being said, okay, the NCAA tournament, men's and women basketball tournament, is going to 76. And I don't want to touch on that 76 teams going into tournament. I don't want to touch on. I don't know if you like it. I don't know. I gotta see it first to pass judgment on that. But I'm going to ask you to do this. Let's rank the playoffs in major American sports. I have my rankings right here. Give you some time to think about it.
Oh, I don't need to. I know. Okay. You ready? I think we just lost. Did we just lose him? Well, I just throw it out there. We would go NFL playoffs, college football playoffs. NBA playoffs there? I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I'm missing something that I would put before the NBA playoffs. NBA playoffs probably come in fourth. Major League Baseball playoffs postseason is very interesting, especially with my Yankees in it. That's must-watch TV for me. I'm locked in for it. So I would probably put NBA playoffs right now around number 4. And I don't think we got LA back. So I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, he just jumped off. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and close the show out. I don't know what's going on with LA, but we appreciate y'all being here. Watch the Game podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Everybody who checked in tonight, we appreciate y'all. We're going to build this thing out, make sure we can connect with y'all. We got some big things planned. We just got to get it off the ground. We need your help to do that. So make sure you like, comment, and share the video. Until next time, we'll catch y'all. We out.